everybody, Elirra here. So today I want to go over the updates that happened on Friday, August 11th. So I know I'm a little bit behind, but we did have a raid yesterday, so that did put me a little bit behind, but it also put me a little bit ahead in a way. So I was able to see a little bit of stuff in the Discord that came up yesterday, well, last night, about Boreal, Oxidazen, and Demetyra. So I'm going to add that in here as well. So anyways, let's get started on that stuff. First off, let's see what started. Here's the icon for this week. It's done by Retro Nintendo. And for those of you that don't know, Retro Nintendo is the one that sold me my Versa, and they are super nice. So I was excited to see that Retro Nintendo was the one that did the icon this week, and they did such a super job on this week, and I hope you guys agree. Alright, so let's see what was in the update log. So I believe it was Wolfragan that posted, and it said that the Summer Paradise event part 3 arrives, and this is the last part of the event. Eigion Warden made obtainable. The new coral material override was added, and it cost shells currency. The new Sunken Sea signature material was added and also cost shells currency. His Solidium was made available, and the Shiaro remake was added. Okay, so next thing up, let's see what we have here. Alright, so here's the coral material override. And here's the coral material override on the new Warden. I think I like it. Alright, next thing is the signature look for the Sunken Sea. It makes your creature to be the Sunken Sea styled. It's based on heat. And here it is on the Warden. I think I like it as well. Different shades of blue. So the next thing up are the updates that I was talking about that are up and coming. These were posted by Mukadori, and they were posted last night. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So Mukadori said there are more tweaked animation teasers that will be coming eventually. The new Demetyra run, Boreal Eat no longer will clip, and Lay no longer has a moving leg. Oxidazen's head will no longer look detached on the aggro. And then we were given some examples of these, so let's take a look. Here is Oxidazen's aggro, and as you see, the head no longer detaches. Here is Boreal's Lay, and as you see, that second leg no longer moves. And last, we have Demetyra's run. Isn't it adorable? Oh my god, I love that. Okay, so last but not least, let's move on to the showcase for the Eigion Warden. And I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I seem to butcher names. As you guys know, that's not news. Okay, so let's move right into it. The Eigion Warden is a Tier 5 aquatic carnivore. The species is available in the Summer Paradise event 2023 by either completing its mission or by purchasing it from the Paradise store for 20,000 shells. And as you guys know, you can also skip the missions, and that cost 1,500 Robux. So the stored version is available in the trial creature shop for 2,625 shoons. The description states that the ruler of the depths of the Harbinger of Darkness, this monster strikes fear into the hearts of even the strongest creatures. When you hear its deep bellows, it's already too late. For you role players out there, the creature behavior states that while the Eigion Wardens can change the weather by will, their mood can also affect the climate. If the weather on the surface is particularly bad, it might be caused by the Eigion Warden's upset over the failed hunt. Eigion Wardens can create whirlpools by swimming in circles rapidly, and the sheer power of these vortexes can wipe out some of the largest creatures. This is mostly used as a defense mechanism. The Eigion Warden has a very flexible hunting ground, though it prefers to pursue larger prey which are in the upper zones of the ocean. Its preferred way of hunting is stalking the prey from below or afar and catching it off guard with a sudden attack. It enjoys striking fear into the heart of anything it pursues. Both male and female members of the species will take care of their eggs, but will abandon them when they hatch. These pups live in tropical environments, whereas adult Eigion Wardens are mostly found in colder climates. Eigion Wardens are usually solitary as adults, but juveniles form pods for protection, as most Eigion Wardens do not make it to adulthood. Those who form close social bonds might end up never leaving those pods. Eigion Wardens can hibernate in the deepest parts of the ocean for years without any food. The Eigion Warden's avatars show specific contempt towards avatars of the Angelic Warden and the Opera Legions, and this goes both ways. The reason for this behavior currently seems to be lost to time. The Eigion Warden enjoys the company and the aura of Novus Warden, as it does not deem it as a threat. However, the Warden in question may not appreciate this due to its timid nature. The eyes across the Eigion Warden's body are fake. These eye spots are meant to confuse any attacker. And in case you guys didn't know, I thought this little tidbit of information was kind of cool. So I have, as you guys know, we breed collies, and collies have these things called false eyes. So if you have ever noticed, they have like brown spots above their eyes, and they're called false eyes. And whenever they sleep, what that's meant to do is confuse any predators that might come around, and just to make it look like they're awake. So it makes it look like they have their eyes open. I thought that was pretty cool. So that's kind of related to the eyes that they were just talking about. So just thought I'd throw that in. Okay, so moving along. The Eigion Warden is a long serpentine creature with 6 claw-tipped flippers along its torso, each one bearing one or more orange markings similar to eyes. It has multiple jagged spikes on its back, and its tail bears fins shaped similarly to those of a shark, which also have glowing spots. Its head is short with cheek fins and a throat that glows orange. It has 6 eyes arranged in diagonal lines that go towards the back of the creature that has a bulky torso. Like all wardens, the Eigion Warden has a mask that floats near its head, though in the Eigion Warden's case, it is oval-shaped with a spiral marking in the middle and bears multiple growths on its side. The Eigion Warden also has multiple parts that float near its fins. The abilities of the Eigion Warden are bleed, bleed defense, defensive paralyze, poison, poison defense, and Warden's Rage. If you do not need an explanation of these abilities, skip to this time. Bleed. Bleed is a passive, offensive ability where a creature inflicts a specific amount of bleed status on a creature with every bite, not with a breath ranged ability or reflecting ability, aka offensive bleed. This particular passive offensive is resisted by creatures with a bleed defense ability, and it does not work against creatures with the unbreakable ability. The opposite of the bleed passive ability is thorns. Bleed defense. Bleed defense is a passive ability that allows creatures to resist the effects of bleed. It is percentage based. For example, if an attacker deals 5 bleed per hit and the receiver has 60% bleed defense, then the receiver gets only 2 of that 5 bleed. If a creature's bleed defense is 100%, then they are immune to bleed done by melee direct attacks once fully grown. This ability is gained gradually as the creature ages. That is, a creature with the 100% bleed defense will have some fraction of bleed defense while growing, being such fraction bigger as it grows. Defensive Paralyze. Defensive Paralyze, known as defensive paralysis, is a passive ability that inflicts a paralyzing effect on creatures that attack the user for about 4 to 5 seconds, causing the attacker to become unable to move, but will still allow them to attack. Unlike other abilities, Defensive Paralyze only works when bitten. There's a % chance that it will take effect per bite, as can be seen on the creature info box. Poison. Poison is a status effect that is inflicted by receiving damage and contains 3 levels of severity when stacking the effect, similar to other poisons, such as toxin, with poison and toxin being stacked together, and radiation sickness. The first stage from 0 to 11 of this effect decreases health and stamina regeneration by 25%. From 11 to 20, it depletes stamina by 3% every 3 seconds. From 20 and higher, it damages 3% of the target's max health every 3 seconds. If sitting and laying, the health of the creatures inflicted with this effect will not be lowered by this status below 10%. Poison Defense. Poison Defense allows creatures to resist the effects of poison inflicted through bite and being bitten, as well as derived sub-ailments such as radiation and radioactive lamp, with 100% poison defense, granting immunity to poison once they reach age 100. Warden's Rage. Warden's Rage is a passive and unique ability that grants the user an increase in damage capabilities when it is in a dire situation. This ability is only activated from direct player attacks, not residual, natural damage such as bleed, poison, starvation, or dehydration. NPC creatures, breaths, or damaging abilities such as area escape, and only on adults above age 66. Upon being attacked, the ability is activated for 60 seconds. If the player is attacked while the effect is active, the timer resets back up to 60 seconds and restarts. During Warden's Rage, stamina regeneration gets doubled, health regeneration is slowed down, inversely proportional to the user's health. Attack damage is multiplied by 7 times Warden's Strength, where Warden's Strength does from 0 to 100% HP to 1 at 50% HP and below. This means that in the range of 100% to 95%, the Warden's damage is actually divided. From 95% to 50%, it steadily increases until it hits the peak of 7 times damage and stays at 7 times peak from 50% to 0%. The color of the beam and the particles is shifted from RGB 0, 151, 249 to RGB 255, 2289, based on how close the health is to 0. When health is at 50% or below, particle emitters activate using the same color shift until the warden reaches more than half health again. Those emitted particles are creature specific. Apart from this, any creature with Warden's Rage will have their attack cooldown multiplied by 3 times. This causes a reduction in attack speed, as they must wait this many seconds before their next attack. The base value is 0.8, regardless of age or having the Warden's Rage ability active or not. After attacking, the attack delay is not allowed to go lower than 0.8 seconds. This means that the attack rate can only decrease if the formula returns something smaller, it is ignored, and 0.8 is used. Now I know that's a bit confusing, so I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that information down into the description below so that you can read it yourself and kind of get a feel for what Warden's Rage actually is. Okay, so a little trivia. The concept was by Renerays in the Creatures of Sonaria Discord. The Eigion Warden is based off of the lionfish, pufferfish, sharks, and Subnautica's leviathans, namely the Reaper Leviathan and the sea monsters depicted on medieval maps. It was confirmed that the Eigion Warden's alternate name, Malveathan, is a portmanteau of the name of the biblical sea serpent Leviathan and the word malevolent. The Eigion Warden is the first and so far only pure aquatic warden to be confirmed by the game's developer team. Also, it's the first event pure aquatic ever. According to Renerays, newborn Eigion Wardens are called pups, and groups of the creature are called pods. The Eigion Warden sprint animation may have inspired by suggestions in a Discord server, which developers Minisode1_Blue Hour asked to be put in the server NoMic VC. The suggestions were for a shark-inspired chasing animation for the Eigion Warden sprint animation. However, it is unclear if this was intentionally put in its sprinting animation or if it was inspired by something else. The Eigion Warden is the second carnivorous warden, the first being the angelic warden. Okay guys, so that's it for the showcase. I'm going to be giving one of these away. So I'm going to have you leave your Roblox user and display in the comments, but I'm also going to ask that you leave a little fact about yourself. So there are going to be a couple of rules. So A, I want you to leave it PG. And B, do not give out any personal information about yourself. So a couple of examples of what you can do are you can say if you play an instrument, do you play a sport, have you traveled a lot, do you live outside of the United States, those kinds of things. So just let me know something cool about yourself. So anyways, that's about it. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Bye.